Hi, Victoria.
Hi, John. How are you?
Good.
Good.
I'd like to thank you for taking the time to sit down with me.
No
Uh,
problem.
Probably should take 20, maybe 30 minutes, but I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. Uh, reason why we're sitting here today is I'd like to go over some exciting options for you, some ways to uh, save on taxes,
Mm.
to increase your cash flow, and to hopefully get you into your retirement sooner and financially independent sooner. Do those things sound good to you?
Absolutely.
All right, well, great. So, uh, first we want to start out is, in your opinion, has things gotten more expensive and yet incomes have stayed about the same, or do you think the incomes have kept up with expenses?
No, for me, that's not true. Um, Expenses have definitely, gotten higher and higher over the last few
And that's
years.
most people. And unfortunately, with that happening, we get into debt and we get poor spending habits too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not necessarily you, but that happens with a lot of people, everybody. So uh, those are some of the issues. Now we're going to work on some of the solutions, some of the ways we can change that. Um, the challenges. Solution number one, step number one, is we are going to we want to have a spending plan, and we want you to inspect what you expect. Inspect what you expect, and what that means is if you are saving right now, when's the last time you looked to see how it was doing and understood what the the information said?
Long time.
Long time, okay. And that's most people. So if they are saving, they don't really know how to understand the statements and those type of things. So what we want to do is we want to help you set up the computer login so you can check it. You can go over your spending plan and you can check your savings plan too.
Okay.
That sound good?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then step two, we're going to try to increase your cash flow, and there's ways to do that. Um, Now, do you have when you do your taxes? Do you normally get a tax return, or is it about the same? Are you break even? Do you owe a little bit? What?
In past years, I have paid, but most recently, I believe I'm going to be getting some money back this
Okay.
year. This year.
Okay. Well, that's one place we can free up some money. We can change your W-2 and get that money back into your budget versus giving it to the government
Mm-hmm.
where they use it and they get the interest off of it for the year they have it, and then or 18 months. Sometimes you can't get back till June,
Mm-hmm.
so depends on when you started paying into that. So anyways, that's something we can talk about when we get back together. Okay.
All right.
Okay. And then step three is getting out of debt. I don't know where you're at on the scale, but from 1 to 10, where would you put yourself? 10 being uh, fully in debt, almost to bankruptcy, or 1 basically being out of debt with no issues?
About a 4.
Out of 4? Okay.
Mhm.
Well, that's really good,
Thank you.
So I'm glad to see that. But if that's an option for you, let me know and we can do some work on that.
Okay.
Okay. Now, step four. Step four is an emergency fund. I don't know if you have an emergency fund right now, or if you know what an emergency fund is.
Mm-hmm. I do know what it is, and
Okay.
I try to keep it in the bank, but
Okay.
it doesn't work.
Doesn't work. So, how we define an emergency fund, and the 3 parts we like to see of it, is it has to be safe,
Mm-hmm.
and it has to be liquid, and it has to be systematic, where a chunk, $25 a week or $50 a week, or say $100 a month or $200 a month, goes into a separate checking account, or not. Excuse me, not exactly. We don't want it in the checking account because we'll spend it. If it's in there, it's free game. But what we want to do is go out systematically to another account where it's harder to get to, and we build up our emergency fund. And the reason why we want to do that is because we don't want to use the plastic in case of emergencies. We want to make sure in case we lose our job or the car breaks down, the refrigerator quits, something, we want to be able to do that versus use credit. because staying out of debt is going to enable us to get to our other goals quicker. And then step five. Do, have you ever been, maybe you've seen in the neighborhood where people have a family, they have two, maybe three kids, husband and wife, and they're both working, or maybe just the husband's working, but one of the spouse dies. Usually, unfortunately, sometimes it's the main breadwinner, and when that happens, not only is there just a loss in the family, but people don't think about the financial loss too. Who's going to pay the electric? Who's going to make the mortgage? Those type of things. So, with that in mind, do you have any life insurance?
Very limited amount from my work.
Very limited amount. Okay. So, maybe that's something we need to circle back to and see what you need to make things, to cover things for you, for your responsibilities. Now, this is the fun part, Victoria. If you listen to me, step 6 can change your life. All right. Now, what step 6 is about is creating a savings and income for your retirement. Are you saving now for your retirement?
No, I had a setback with an ill spouse.
Okay. That's unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear that. But that's happened. It happens a lot. So, well, we have some options I'd like to cover with you, and some ways to beat inflation, and to also help with the taxes. So there's two things you need to take care of to win the money battle, and that's inflation and taxes. Okay. I'd like to start with inflation first, okay?
Okay.
And so, here, let me grab my pen from my bag. I got this, but I forgot my pen.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for being patient.
No problem.
All right, so get back to this. Have you ever heard of the rule of 72?
No, I haven't.
Okay, the rule of 72 states that my pen doesn't work. All right, let me grab my backup one out of my bag here. Appreciate your patience. Yeah, shows I'm human too
wouldn't
here.
you know?
Yeah. All right, let's see. Okay, great. So, the rule of 72 states whatever interest rate you're getting on your on your money now, on your savings now, on your retirement funds, if you divide that into 72, it'll tell you how many years it'll take to double. So let's say that you're getting 4%. You divide that into 72. 72, if we're gonna goes 18 times. Well, so that means if you have $100, and you're getting 4% on that, in 18 years it'll double. Okay, and then in another 18 years it'll double. So now we have $400 in 36 years. Okay, now let me ask you something on the inflation ways. Do you think $400 in 36 years will buy what $100 does today?
No way.
Probably not. I'm willing to bet. Okay, so that's one place where if people are saving, and a lot of people aren't, they're probably saving where they're getting 4% or less in a bank. Okay, now what we can do here is we can change the interest rate. Let me show you something here. So let's say you had $10,000 and you had $10,000. Oh. Sorry about that. I missed my train of thought. Okay, let's say you were 29 years old and you had $10,000. At 4%, it would double to $20,000 in 18 years, and then it would double to $40,000. Okay, now we're not changing the money, and we're not changing the time. what could we change? Well, perhaps the interest rate, and we can. What if we
Okay.
could get 10 or 12% interest rate? What do you think that would do?
Well, how risky is it?
Well, hold on, I'm getting there. Okay. So, if there was a place that was safe, where your money was locked in, the principal and the interest every 12 months, where you couldn't lose money, that would be a good thing. But I'm not there yet. So, good question. So let's just say that you could get 12% on your money into 72. Now 12 goes into 72 six times. So every 6 years you're doubling your money. So we have 10,000 here, and we double it every 6 years. So we go 20, 40, 80, 160, 320, and 640. And Victoria, the only thing that's changed is the interest rate. If somebody could show you where to do that or how to do that, would that be important to you?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, that's what we're going to do. Okay?
Okay.
Now, the only thing that changed again was the interest rate. So, $640,000. This cost this gentleman $600,000 because he didn't know where to put the money. All right. So, now, it can ask you a question. Can I be strong with you, Victoria?
Sure.
Okay. If you save for you, and now this is if you save for you, I can guarantee that one day, if we do the plan right, that one day the money coming in will be more than you're making now, and you won't have to work anymore.
Wow.
So, essentially, anyway, okay. So now we're going to talk about where you can save the money. The first one is the fixed, and these are banks, money, credit unions, those type of things. Well, what are some of the good things and the bad things, the positives and the negatives of using a bank?
Well, the negatives are the interest rate, the rate of return on your money,
Okay.
and
So, low interest rate.
let's see what else.
And right now, what is it? About 0.5%, maybe,
Yeah,
if you're
not
lucky.
even. It's just
Yeah.
terrible.
Okay,
And
so,
then let's see. I'm a little worried about if the economy, takes a nosedive. So,
okay.
um,
So it's secure.
I'm not sure that banks are old-fashioned banks, or I don't know.
Well,
They're in trouble.
as of today, they're insured by the government, and it is a safe place compared
Right.
to, say, the stock market, perchance.
Yeah.
And that's going to be my next thing we talk about. So there's three main places we put our money. And so the stock market, to the market. And what are some of the advantages of the stock market?
Better rate of return on your money.
Okay, so you can have great ups, you can have large increases, but also,
Very risky.
so you can have some decreases, right? So it's
Especially if you don't know the stock market, which most people don't.
right. So there is a risk. There's a risk involved. Now, let me tell you about the other option. It's called indexed approach. Now, with the indexed approach, what happens is, let's first show you the market approach, okay? So we're going to start off with $10,000. And the first year gains 10% in the market, okay? So now we have $11,000. The second year goes up again, another 10%, and we're at $12,100. Doing pretty good. It's the market. The following year, we lose 20%. Now we're back down below where we started at $9,680. So in 3 years, we had some money. Now we're below what we started 3 years ago. That is a risk that can happen. Now, let me show you the index approach. Start with 10,000, the same 10,000, went up 10%. Went up 10% the next year, but your interest and your principal is locked in every year. And so this year, instead of losing that, you just stayed the same. And if it does it for a year or two, you stay the same. Then when it goes back up, you're going back up from here. But here's the problem with it. Okay? And it has a cap, somewhere between 12 and 14%. Right now it's 13%. So, even in a great year where you make 22% or so in the market, you're capped at 13. But you cannot lose you don't lose any money of your principal or your interest earned.
I see.
So out of these three options we talked about, Victoria, which one sounds more in your wheelhouse? Which one are you more comfortable with?
Definitely the index.
And you know what? That's a very popular approach nowadays. We're finding out that a lot of people are choosing that. Okay. So that's the inflation side of things. Let me show you the tax side of things. Okay.
Okay.
There's a young man. He's 30 years old, and he decides he wants to have $1 million by the time he's 60. Okay. But he doesn't know anything about investing or the market or anything like that. So he goes to the bank. And he goes to the banker and he goes, I want to have $1 million in 30 years when I turn 60. And the banker goes, oh, okay. And hold on a second. And he goes back and calculates. It comes back up. And he goes, okay. Well, right now at 5%, we have CDs at 5%. Mr. Client, all you need to do is walk in every month and give me a check for $1,639. And in 30 years, you can have $1 million. Well, of course, most people can't say that. And what do you think he did?
Yeah, especially when you're 30. I mean, that sounds horrible.
He was pretty disgusted, pretty upset, and he walked out, and now he's never saved a penny in his life, and now he's a greeter at Walmart. You know, he never did save. So now we've talked about the inflation part where we can get a greater return on our money. So let's say he could get 10% on that. Okay, so that drops now at 10%. He'd only have to save $899 a month. Now that's still a lot, but that's a little more doable than this number, right? Wow, okay. Now what if we could do the 10% and show you how to do the tax advantage on it? Now with the tax advantage at 10%, he only needs to save $439 a month. Now you probably know people that could do that. Heck, you could probably do that. You're probably spending that or blowing that in a month anyways, right?
Sometimes.
Close to it. So, anyways, doesn't that seem a little more doable?
Yeah, a lot more doable.
So that's the other part we like to show when we get back with you. Okay, so when we get back together, Victoria, this is what I'm going to want from you.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to want a dozen chocolate chip cookies hot that you baked and a large glass of milk.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding, but you were getting a little too serious about this. Okay. So what I do want you to know is that this isn't gonna. You don't pay me anything for the work I do. I want you to know how I get paid. When I show you the products, and if you choose to align yourself with one of the companies, they give me a finder's fee or a commission on it. So there is no out-of-pocket cost for the work I do from you. Okay, the company you choose to do business with pays me. Okay, so when we get back together, when would be a good time to get back together? So what I find is if we can get back together in the next day or two, that works the best because then I don't have to explain this again. It kind of goes to the wayside. Is next today's Tuesday? Is Thursday okay?
Sure.
And looks like I have an 11 o'clock or a 3:30. Which one will work better for you?
I think 3:30.
3:30. Okay, 3:30. Great. Now let me ask you. Okay, and then let me go to step 7. So our 7th step is estate planning. Do you have a will or a living trust or anything like that?
No.
Okay, so this part I'm actually going to show you. So people are going to be surprised when they see this, that with the estate planning, your life insurance, business, home, and pension, personal assets, real estate, settlement cost, estate taxes up to 50%, probate and administrative and final expense costs 3 to 5%, and then sometimes income taxes on pension and annuities up to 38%, plus estate taxes of 50%. Sometimes without the protection, all that money you save and you want to pass on ends up getting eaten up by the government.
Oh, yeah.
So we can help you with that too. So, Victoria, in the 7 steps we just covered, what sounds best to you? What would you, if you could only pick 2, what would you like to talk about when we get back together?
Step 6.
Step 6, okay, great. And I noticed that you kind of lit up when I talked about that. Being financially independent and getting to your retirement goals sooner. And then what else?
Maybe the getting out of debt.
Okay, great. So steps 3 and step 6. Okay, great. Now, I'm going to ask you 2 questions. When we get back together and I show you something and it works for you and you absolutely love it, because I don't want you to do it unless you absolutely love it. If you absolutely love it, would you be, is there any reason why we couldn't do business?
No, I don't see why not.
Okay, good. And then the second thing, Victoria, because I don't think you're going to bring me cookies, but would you mind giving me the name of 1 or 2 friends or family or somebody you know that could benefit from this information too?
Sure.
Okay. Well, thank you. So, do you have a calendar, or here's my card. I'm gonna write down the time, Thursday at 3 p.m. Here we go. And then do you have a binder or a calendar that you can write this down?
Well, you know what? I can put it in my phone, but I don't have it with me.
Oh, okay,
So,
okay. Well then, speaking of which, I'll give you my cell phone. My cell phone's on that card.
Okay.
Can I get your cell phone?
Sure.
Okay, it is
623
826
1711.
1711. All right, great. Now, just so I can come back with a product, or with some options for you, with some solutions for you. And I can only do as good as the information you give me. So I have this F&A form here, financial needs analysis form, that I'd like to go over. And so the first few questions have to be yes or no. They can't be a maybe.
Okay.
Now, do you think you're going to make a major purchase in the next 3 to 5 years?
Yes.
Okay, would that be a car or a major vacation, or what do you think that?
Probably a condo.
Condo. Okay, so a home. So you're going to buy a home. Okay, and then great. And then is there any debt that you really want to work on to do that? Okay, and the credit cards. Is it credit cards, or is it a piece of land, or what are we dealing with? The furniture? What?
I've got a couple of furniture accounts. I have very little credit card debt. I have some other things that are.
Okay, about how much do you think a month do we need to? How much is that? You think probably?
Oh, $300 a month.
300 a month. Okay, so we can work on that. Okay, great. Now, Are you investing now in your? Do you have a 401k or a? No.
No,
Okay.
sir.
And you say you do have an emergency fund, and you're putting $100 a month or so
I
over
do.
there.
I pay it every month. Uh-huh.
Okay, all right. So they're working on that. And if you have any questions more on that, we can perhaps get you into an account where you get a little more interest, not much, but a little more. And then okay, so you said you're probably going to get some money back on your taxes. Let me ask you a question. Without touching anything, how much do you think you could put towards your retirement a month in a situation like this that we talked about, where you have pretty much an average of at least 10% or better gain to get into your to help you get into your retirement years earlier?
Probably 300 to 500 a month.
300 to 500. Okay, is five? So it's five's at the top of your at the top.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Is 3 comfortable and doable, or is that pushing it some months too?
Well, you mentioned something about tax advantages. Where would this come into play?
Okay, so that would be when you go to pull out your money. Okay, and we can talk more about that on the second appointment. I don't want to overwhelm you. I'll have some different products and some different things to show you. Okay.
Okay.
So, now with the tax part, though, no, what I meant was when you on your tax return, say you're getting $3,500 back, so that's almost $300 a month that the government's taking of your money. What if we changed your W-2 where we brought 150 or 200 of that back into your income? Could you see investing that into your retirement?
Sure.
Okay, so you're pretty comfortable with the additional 3. So we have 300 now, and then if I show you how to adjust your taxes and we get that, what are you comfortable there? 100, 150, 200?
Well, I'm not gonna. It won't make a difference, will it?
Well, yeah, it'll bring back. Well, sure it will. If you remember the 10,000 I showed you, you can actually do better in the long run by just putting a couple $100 in a month than starting out with just $10,000 and letting.
Oh, I see.
See, so the more you can put in a month, the better. But I don't want you to feel uncomfortable either. I remember I told you I want you to absolutely love this, or we're not going to do it. Okay. So let's say $100 of that. Okay. So you're still getting like 2,000 back or so, if you want to do it, or you can put a 50 of it or $100 back into your budget for whatever else you wanted to do.
Okay.
So realistically, do you think? So this is additional that you're willing to put into your retirement that you're not doing right now. And $100 from the taxes. Okay, so $400. Do you think that is something, or should I show you something more at $350 or $300 that you are sure you could do month in and month out?
Can you pay more if you want to?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
So I'd rather start you. We're at a comfortable spot, and months you can pay more. You can.
Okay.
Not a problem with that.
All right.
So it's 400, or should we do 300?
We better do 3.
Okay, 300. Okay, because I want you to be comfortable with it. I want you. Okay, so when I come back, I think you're really gonna love this.
Okay.
Okay. So I appreciate your time, and I will I will call you the evening before, or do me a favor. If there's any changes, I will be here. I don't miss appointments. But if something comes up, emergency comes up with your car, or your children, or something you forgot about work, check your schedule when you get back to your phone.
Okay.
And if there's a conflict, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you Thursday at 3:30. Okay?
All right, John.
All
Thank
right.
you very
Well, thank
much
you.
for coming over.
Yeah.